This is a training video for those of you that are having some difficulty with the PLEP and Goals assignment that's attached to the Bateria Woodcock, the Spanish achievement test that we're learning in this class. What I have in front of you is the profile, the score report that you're going to construct a PLEP page and goals for. Those of you who have a difficulty with Spanish, I'm also sending you an English version of this test so you can look at the translations of the various tests. And that is this document right here. And so if you don't know what various words mean on this document, you can always look at the other one. Ignore the first two rows. That's not a part of this exercise. I want you to focus on amplia lectura, amplias matemáticas, and amplio escrito. That would be on the broad reading, broad math, and broad written language, as you can see here on the English version. Now, in order to qualify students for special education, we only use these broad scores, these broad standard scores. And obviously, let's say that this child has an IQ of 105, then this child would qualify in all three areas. So let's assume for the purposes of this exercise that this child has an IQ of 105. And this child does qualify in all three areas. Now, how do we determine strengths and weaknesses? Because on the PLEP report, we need to have strengths and weaknesses. Well, under broad reading, amplia lectura, we have three subtests. Identification de letras y palabras, and fluidez en la lectura, which is reading fluency, and comprehension. And you can see the English versions of those three tests: letter word identification, reading fluency, and passage comprehension. Now, in the math area, to find strengths and weaknesses, we would use cálculo, fluidez en matemáticas, and problemas aplicados, which means calculation, math fluency, and applied problems. That's where we find our strengths and weaknesses in this area. In the area of language escrito, written language, we would use ortografía, which is spelling, fluidez en la escritura, writing fluency, and muestras de redacción. And in the English, again, would be spelling, writing fluency, and writing samples. So we have here a child who is a second grader. And when we do our PLEP and goals for this child, for the goals, for the excuse me, for the goals, which the overall annual goals is what I'm speaking of, we are going to use fourth grade standards. The fourth grade standards are provided for you in the module, both in Spanish and in English. We can't use the fourth grade standard word for word. We have to tweak it to make sense. A typical goal might be the student will be able to decode and comprehend a fourth grade passage. Well, if that's not realistic, perhaps a second grade passage. And then for our benchmarks, our short-term objectives, we want to make sure that we provide for at least 1 year of growth. And if you take a look at this child, while you're going to tweak a 4th grade standard for the overall annual goal, we want to take a look around the 2nd grade for benchmarks and make sure that we have an accuracy component to go along with our benchmarks. Like, for example, decode 2nd grade sight words with 80% accuracy. Keep it simple. I'm also providing for you a little template that I use for my face-to-face classes on how to fill out a PLEP. And so if you take a look at this one here, we could, let me see here, I want to get to the Spanish version. This child here, let's call this child Jose, for example. And so Jose is a 2nd grade student at Lexington Elementary School. He's a good kid. However, Jose is struggling in all academic areas. He needs assistance to succeed academically, something like that. And then for reading, find a strength. He's stronger in something than in something else. However, you might want to say, however, he's below grade level in all areas. He's unable to complete grade level assignments in reading. He needs specialized instruction in reading. This is a template that you can use for your PLEP page. So, and I will put this also into an announcement in a module for you. I hope this helps. I think this should answer your questions, and I don't believe that we really need a live session today. So I will schedule one for this Saturday, just in case that you still have some questions on this assignment. And again, I'm in my office if you need any help. Bye-bye.